So welcome everybody to my little demo in watercolor. So lately I came to paint flowers, and if somebody would have told me, Carsten, you will paint flowers in watercolor one day, I would have said, you're stupid. I will never paint flowers in watercolor. But then I came into a deep depression, and I didn't even like painting, which always was my companion and my daily companion during the last years. So I didn't even feel for painting, and because of this depression. And then I told myself, maybe I should do something different to get into watercolor again. And so I started with flowers. Something about the things I use. It's Lucas Watercolors. Watercolors 1862. It's a German brand, but now it comes from Daleroni, England. And I use some designer's gouache from Schmink Opaque White. So, and these are the brushes I use. I don't need this one, but these are cheap synthetic flat brushes. And this is a brush from Alvaro Castañer, probably my most expensive brush, but it's really worth the money because it's good for expressive lines. And yeah, then I have these Chinese brushes. They are from a food store, from a Chinese food store in Amsterdam. Each €1, pretty cheap. The one is losing hair. Unfortunately, it was from the beginning, but the others work fine, and I still use this one. Then I have this mop brush, and this is another Chinese brush. I don't know if I will use it, but so if you like what you see, you can donate and even win this beautiful artwork or a voucher code for my Etsy store. And I want to invite you to, if you are into watercolors, please join the international watercolor community. It's a platform where you can post your pictures, communicate with other people all around the world, and it's hosted by the Fabrian and Aquarelle Festival. So please join. Okay, but now I think I have to start. I said morning painting, but the truth is here it's after high noon already, so I can take these away. You will see my painting is pretty messy. I just want to have joy, and I always start painting with some cheap thin paper just to warm up and to get a feeling, because I think painting has a lot to do with getting into a groove. It's like music. This is why I made my own music for painting too. So this is not for the museum or something, it's just to get warmed up. And I can show you the possibilities of the brushes I use. So I start with pretty bold colors, maybe some Lucas red, which is really nice, and expressive red. Okay, let's start somewhere and try out the possibilities of this. So what I do is to interpretate what I see in nature. I always thought I shouldn't paint flowers because Flowers are so beautiful in nature. I don't have to paint them. And to be honest, for a long time I just thought watercolors with flowers are kind of boring. Maybe all lay stuff, I don't know. Of course, there are fabulous flower watercolors, but I just thought this is not the thing I would like to paint. But it's so good to just experiment. So, and I don't paint these from some reference or so. I just study flowers with photographs and just by looking them in nature. But when I paint, I just want to be free and just create my own interpretation of nature in this. So you see there's a lot of variety possible with even this pretty huge flat brush. So the composition is just happening while I paint. So one brush stroke is inspiring the next one, and so you really don't know how the result will be, and this is how I've always seen it. Just the painting process is much more important for me than the finished result. Because if you don't love the process, you will never, I think you will never be able to create a good watercolor. And like I said, I just like to be bold, because if you are too much afraid about making mistakes, there's nothing really happening on the paper and you get lost. So now I just continue painting. I'm not really talkative while I paint because it's some kind of meditation. I hope you can see the music in the background. Hear the music in the background, and so I will just say when I change a brush or do something. So you can see it's a very thin paper. You can let it run a little bit. I just want to see what happens on the paper. This is what's most exciting for me. And I think I should use another flat brush, a little bit smaller, to create the next flower. I think it takes some yellows here. Looks a little bit sunflowery, I guess. There are so many possibilities to have fun with the brushes and just experiment. I even use my fingers because I think so I paint with my whole body. It's almost like sports when I paint. Sometimes my bones are even hurting after a longer painting sessions, but who cares? Other people go to the gym and I paint watercolors. It's that easy. Add some pink here. if you have any questions or just would like to show me your paintings, and or what do you think about flower painting and watercolors in general, just leave a comment below. I will always try to answer. And if you like to see my other videos about watercolor, and most of them are time-lapse paintings, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I guess I've linked it below. But the main thing is just to stay in contact all over the world. So please join this watercolor platform, the international platform, hosted by Fabiano and Aquarello. Okay, I think it's getting where I hoped. So this is painting pretty messy, and I now take another brush. This one from Carsten, and I mix some opaque white to some of the paints in this chip card, just to let it sit more inside the underlying paint. Splat this way, and add some more filigrane aspects to this. It's important to see, this is my dirty palette here, so it's some sienna, burnt sienna, some ultramarine, Prussian green, Payne's grey for the darkest parts. But you should not use the Payne's grey too early when you want a colorful painting, because it will mix with the other paint colors, and then you have some effects you don't like too much. You also have to be careful with this cadmium yellow. It's pretty opaque, and if you want to paint over it later, everything gets green. But to add some details, I like this. And I mix it with other yellows, so if you need intense yellow tones, it works pretty good. Careful that it's not too much. So some greens should be here too. So for me it's important to keep my brushes in motion all the time. And this is where the music helps pretty much too, because yeah, it keeps you moving too. Afraid to make mistakes. Most important thing about this way of painting. So maybe if you are into classic watercolors, you might not like my painting technique. I wouldn't even say it's a technique, it's just something that happened through the last years, and I have the feeling now, for the first time since I paint, this stuff is exactly what I like to do, because it's really joyful, playful, lively. And it's the best thing to start the day, I think. It's really like getting into the groove for the whole day that's coming up. Maybe some yellow up here. Might be too much there. Who cares? So this is the smallest brush of these Chinese brushes. Yes, a fantastic, I don't know the word yet. It's great to draw some expressive lines and to add details. And you can also use the flat side to suggest some larger shapes. So the question is, when is the painting finished? Sometimes I work on a painting several days because I have to let it dry before I add another color layer. But in this case, I just paint as long I like, and up to the point where I don't have any ideas left to bring them to the paper. But this way of painting is so satisfying, and for me it's maybe the best therapy in the world. So if you couldn't watch the whole video here or want to see it in a better quality than in this live streaming, I will post it on my YouTube channel in a few days. Maybe I should take out my talking and just put in more music. I think this this new love for flower painting comes from my garden work on my balcony too, because last year when I couldn't go to the Fabriano festival because of the COVID-19, I had just to decide what to do, because I was so disappointed that the festival did not happen, and I wanted to visit friends in Fabriano. And then I had to decide what to do with this time, and I always wanted to start a little gardening on my balcony, but for some reason I couldn't start this earlier, so now was the chance, because you had to stay at home. Since then I really enjoyed so much This year I have a big variation of tomatoes on my balcony. And just to see these to see these plants grow. I just could sit there and watch them grow. It's so beautiful. And when you just put the seeds in your garden pots, you see them growing from the beginning, and some days they did look not that good. Then you have to care for them, like a little bit like for a child. And I think this inspired me to start with something floral or. And it's a good way to get into abstraction too, because I always wanted to paint more abstract in a way. But when you like to paint a subject, it's hard to get away enough from the subject and just into painting. And this is where I think these flower expressions are wonderful for. So here. Add some opaque white to the yellow. It's just for some sprinkles and maybe some fine lines. I think this adds a lot of life to the whole thing. And again, it's just suggesting things. Who wants to paint all those details? Oh, there are enough people who do that, but I guess I'm probably too lazy for doing more accurate flower paintings. I just want to have fun. Although this is a pretty thin paper, you can do almost anything you do on a regular paper too. And after drying, I put these in my storage and put a heavy wooden plate on them, so they get flattened almost perfectly again, without gluing or taping or something. Because when I want to paint, I just need the opportunity to just get started without a big effort. And this is something I could recommend for beginners who are not really able to motivate themselves to paint every day or at least twice a week or something like that. Just get a corner where you have all your paint stuff and where you can start immediately when you feel for it. So for me, watercolor really became a daily therapy, and I think with these abstract things, abstract flowers and plants, and, I have a data therapy, and it's just feeling good, and it works fine for me. So one important thing I've seen in my workshop last weekend at the Kunstfabrik Hanover, many beginners they tend to paint a watercolor like painting furniture, like this, and so it even works on this paper, but I think we should paint with some more expression, like this, that. And if you don't feel for it on an expensive sheet of paper, just get this cheap one. I think it's 50 € a sheet. Or just take a sheet of, if you like smaller, I use, this is it's not a visual printer paper, just for getting some groove into your brushwork. I don't know if you can see, this looks a little bit like honey now. I never know what can see on the live stream picture. Okay, I've softened the lower part a little bit. Now I need some more darkness here, but I think it should be something warm. Maybe something like deep violet or something. Let's see. So I tried to suggest the glass ball or something like that with painting the outside. Suggest some sherry. I think this brings a nice additional color aspect. Trick to keep the color balance is if you paint the color on one side, just go to the other side of the picture and see if it fits there too a little bit. But don't repeat the same brush strokes, just add some color to your composition. There's so much happening on the paper when you just let it happen. So to give up control is really fun. let's try to suggest some more or less dirty water here. If you like to watch me paint, just give me a note in the comment section, and, because I think I like this live streaming. I'm probably doing the next one in a few days. So if you're interested, then just let me know. I think I should close this area a little bit with some smooth paint. That's pretty dirty. Okay, so suggest some flowers in the back of it this way. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Some life here. Always keep in mind that when it dries, the colors get a little bit more lighter, so it doesn't make sense to save paint. If you want watercolor that's colorful, you have to be generous with your paints. This is why I like these big tubes from Lucas. I paint a lot of just these practices, meditations. And it would cost a fortune with small tubes. Always have to be careful that I don't overdo it, but as long I still a few ideas what my brush could do next. I just keep it going. And I can tell you this is the very best training for loose brushwork. So my space is a little bit limited here. It would be good for most watercolor painters, but because I work this messy and with big movements of my body, I need a lot of space. Some dark accents. I like to mix this burnt sienna with some ultramarine for these. So I think it's, especially in these flower pictures, it's probably better than the paint clay. So we should not add too much detail, but as long as the paint is wet, still remain in the suggestion state. This one should explode a little bit. So sprinkles from here. I think I would like some bigger ones, some bigger splashes. I think I should bring it to an end now. Some dark splats here and there. Some bright stuff on the top. I think if you work with opaque white this pretty creative and loose way, I think it's okay to use it, but you have to decide yourself, because I think it's some question of it's almost like a religion not to work with opaque colors or add some watercolors or use it more mixed media. I think for me this is still watercolor, because it's painted with loads of color in. This details are just adding a little bit more life to it. I would like to put some more pink here and there. So I'm not adding real details, I'm just trying to add some more lovely aspects that when you see the picture, you can just wander around. Today it's hard again to find the end here, because it's so much fun. What I do last or next is to take off some color here and there where it's taking too much interest of my part of the picture. These are so beautiful, but I think I should kill them a little bit. This is okay, I think. Okay, everybody, I think I leave this way. Maybe quick signature here to suggest it's finished. Maybe I work on it later when it's dry, but thank you for watching, everybody, and if you paint flowers yourself in an expressive way, please send me yours in the comments. Or if you have any question, you can contact me anytime. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, buy my books if you want to support me, and I hope to see you live, maybe in September. I'm at the Watercolor Festival in Ulm with a painting demo, and there are some dates in Hanover for a painting demonstration at Bösner. Okay, stay healthy, happy painting, everybody, and hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.